I sent my innocent husband to prison. Every Sunday for the past 14 months, Raymond kisses me goodbye at exactly 8 a.m., grabs his car keys off the hook by the door, and tells me the same thing. Going to see mom. She's having a rough week. I'll be back around 2. His mom, Melinda, lives 45 minutes away in a nursing home after her stroke last year, and Raymond was devoted to her in a way that made me love him even more. He'd come home smelling like hand sanitizer and sadness, and I'd rub his shoulders while he told me how hard it was watching her decline. She barely recognized me today, he said once, and I held him while he cried into my neck. I thought I was married to the most caring man alive. I couldn't have been more wrong. His mother was about to show me his true colors I didn't even know existed. I was making lunch when she called, and something instantly stuck out when she said my name. Her voice was strong and clear, nothing like the frail woman Raymond described. Melinda, hi, how are you feeling? She laughs, strongly not weakly, and says, I'm fine, sweetheart. The nurses here take wonderful care of me. I'm calling because I haven't seen my son in almost 4 months, and I'm starting to think he forgot where I live. I don't say anything. I can't. She keeps going, completely unaware that she's just detonated a bomb in the middle of my kitchen. I know Raymond works hard, but would you remind him his mother misses him? He used to visit every week, and then he just stopped. I thought maybe you two were going through something, but I didn't want to pry. His mom just confessed to Raymond not visiting for 4 months, and yet every single Sunday for those 4 months he walked out of our house, told me he was going to see her, and came home hours later looking emotionally drained. Where has he actually been going? I hear myself say, of course, Melinda. I'll talk to him tonight. I'm sure he's just been overwhelmed with work. She thanks me and tells me she loves me and hangs up. I stand in my kitchen staring at the phone in my hand. My husband has been lying to me for 14 months. I think about all the times he came home with that tired look on his face, the way he'd sigh and say, Mom's getting worse, or the doctors don't know how much longer she has. I made him special dinners on those nights. I ran him baths. I gave him space when he said he needed to process. And the whole time, he wasn't even going to see her. I want to call him right now. I want to scream into the phone and demand answers, but something stops me. Raymond has a way of explaining things that always makes me feel like I'm the one being unreasonable. So I decide to wait. When Raymond comes home with that familiar, exhausted expression, I hand him a glass of water and ask, how was your mom today? He shakes his head slowly and says, not great, baby. She was confused the whole time and kept asking where dad was, even though he's been gone for years. I nod and rub his arm and tell him I'm sorry. The whole time I watch his face for any sign that he knows I know. There's nothing. He's completely relaxed, completely confident that his lie landed exactly the way it always does. But now all I want to do is find out where he's really going. Part of me is terrified it's another woman, but something in my gut tells me this is different. Something tells me the truth is going to be worse than anything I can imagine. That gut feeling won't leave me alone. It keeps me up at night and makes me watch him differently when he's home. I start paying attention to things I never noticed before. Raymond takes certain phone calls in the garage now. His browser history is always cleared. Sometimes he looks at me like he's keeping the biggest secret of his life. 4 days later, I finally found out where he's really been going every weekend, and it was worse than anything I could have imagined. Come back for the update because you need to hear what I heard. 4 days pass and I become a detective in my own home. I watch Raymond's patterns like they're clues at a crime scene. He leaves his phone face down now. He takes calls in the garage with the door closed. He hums to himself when he thinks I'm not paying attention. This satisfied little sound like everything is going according to plan. I hate that sound. I hate that I never noticed it before. Thursday night, Raymond tells me he's going to watch the game in the living room. I tell him I'm going to take a bath and read for a while. He kisses my forehead and says, sounds good, baby. You deserve some relaxation. I smile and head upstairs, but I don't run the water. I sit on the edge of the tub and wait. 20 minutes later, I hear the garage door open and close. He's making a call. I slip out of the bathroom and move down the stairs slowly, stepping on the edges where the wood doesn't creak. Raymond taught me that trick years ago when we used to sneak around his parents' house. Now I'm using it against him. The door to the garage is thin, and Raymond's voice carries, yeah, I'm alone, Raymond says. She's taking a bath. We've got time. He actually thinks he's safe. I press myself against the wall next to the door and hold my breath. I know. I'm sorry I couldn't make it last Sunday. She was home all day, and I couldn't get away without her asking questions. He laughs at something the other person says. No, she doesn't suspect anything. She thinks I'm still visiting my mom every week. She even made me a special dinner last time because she felt bad about how tired I looked when I got home. My hands are shaking. I press them flat against the wall to steady myself. 2 weeks, Raymond says, and his voice gets softer, almost tender. I know it feels like forever, but it's almost over. When you get out, everything will be ready. I've been working on her, I promise. She's going to come around. She just needs to see that people can change. When you get out, the words echo in my head. He's talking to someone in prison, someone who's getting released in 2 weeks. Listen to me, Raymond continues. I know she said she never wanted to see you again. I know she meant it when she said it, but that was years ago. She was young and angry, and she didn't understand that holding on to that kind of pain only hurts her. I've been with her for 6 years now. I know her better than anyone. She's ready to forgive. She just doesn't know it yet. I feel like the floor is tilting underneath me. Who is he talking to? Who did I say I never wanted to see again? The house is perfect, Raymond says. 3 bedrooms, nice neighborhood, good people. She's done really well for herself. You'd be proud of her. He pauses. I know you are. I know. And she's going to see that. When you show up and she sees how much you've changed, how much you regret everything, she's going to understand that family is family. Blood is blood. You can't just cut people out forever no matter what they did. No matter what they did. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. There's only one person in my life I cut out. Only one person I said I'd never forgive no matter how much time passed. Only one person who's been in prison for years and might be getting out soon. I got the pictures developed, Raymond says. The ones of the house and the neighborhood. I'll bring them Sunday. I want you to see where she lives, what her life looks like now. She's happy. She's successful. And I think a lot of that is because she's ready to close this chapter. She just needs someone to help her take that first step. I can't breathe. I actually can't breathe. My chest is tight and my vision is getting blurry, and I have to grab the door frame to keep myself upright. She told me everything, Raymond says quietly. I'm not saying what you did was okay. I'm not excusing it, but I believe in redemption. I believe people deserve second chances. And I believe she needs her father back in her life, whether she knows it or not. Her father. That confirms my suspicions. He's talking to my father. He's been visiting my father in prison every Sunday for over a year. Raymond has been visiting him, talking to him, building a relationship with him behind my back. I've got to go, Raymond says. She might be getting out of the bath soon, but I'll see you Sunday, okay? We're so close now. 2 more weeks and you'll be out. I've already started working on convincing her to have dinner with us. I'm thinking I'll tell her it's a surprise, someone from my side of the family she's never met. By the time she realizes it's you, you'll already be there. She won't make a scene. She's not like that. And once she sees your face, once she hears you apologize, everything's going to change. Trust me. He's planning an ambush. He's going to bring my abuser into my home and trap me there with him. I love you too, Raymond says. I know you never had a son, but I want you to know I think of you that way. You're family to me now, and family takes care of each other. I'll see you Sunday, Dad. Dad. He called him Dad. The garage door opens and I barely make it up the stairs in time. I slip into the bathroom and turn on the water and sit on the edge of the tub, shaking so hard my teeth are chattering. I hear Raymond come back inside. I hear him settle back onto the couch and turn up the volume on the game. I hear him laugh at something on the screen like he didn't just rip my entire world apart. I stay in that bathroom for an hour. The water runs cold and I don't care. I sit there and I think about Raymond holding me when I told him about my father. I think about him crying with me, promising to protect me, swearing he would never let anyone hurt me again. I think about every Sunday for 14 months when he walked out of this house and drove to a prison to visit the man who destroyed my childhood. I think about the photos he took of our home. I think about my father knowing where I live, what my neighborhood looks like, what my life has become. Raymond has been giving him everything, every detail, every piece of the life I built to get away from that monster. And in 2 weeks, he's planning to put us in the same room. Something inside goes cold and hard and sharp. Raymond thinks he knows me better than anyone, but that phone call proves he has no idea who he's married to. Because there's no way I'm going to sit back and let him destroy the life I've built for myself. But before I tell you what happened next, I need to explain why hearing my father's name changed everything. This part is hard to talk about, but you need to know. I don't talk about my childhood. I've spent most of my adult life building walls around those memories so thick and so high that sometimes I can pretend they don't exist at all. But you need to understand what Raymond did. You need to understand why hearing my father's name come out of my husband's mouth felt like being thrown back into the darkest time of my life. My father did horrible things to me when I was younger. I still remember the first time. I was in my bed with my stuffed rabbit, the one with the floppy ears that I'd named Sprinkles. I was almost asleep when my door opened and my father came in. He sat on the edge of my bed, and I remember feeling happy at first because I thought he was going to read me a story or tell me he loved me. My mom had left us a few months before, and he'd been sad and distant ever since. I thought maybe he just wanted to be close to me. I didn't understand what was happening when his hands started moving under my blanket. I didn't understand why it felt wrong. Shh, he whispered. Be a good girl for Daddy. I froze. I didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't make a sound. When it was over, he kissed my forehead and said, "This is our special secret, okay? Just between us." I nodded because I didn't know what else to do. He smiled at me like I'd done something right, and then he left, and I lay there in the dark, holding Sprinkles so tight I thought I'd rip her stuffing out. The second time it happened, I asked him to stop, and he put his hand over my mouth and said, "Good girls don't talk back." The third time it happened, I told him I didn't want to anymore and that I was going to tell my teacher. His face changed instantly. "You want the police to come?" he asked me. "You want them to take you away and put you in a foster home with strangers? Because that's what happens to little girls who tell lies about their daddies." I shook my head and he softened again, wiping my tears with his wet, dirty thumb. "That's my girl. I knew you'd understand." I believed him because he was the only person I had left. I kept the secret because I was terrified of being taken away. I kept the secret because I thought this was normal, that this was what happened in other houses too. The abuse went on for 5 years. 5 years of him coming into my room at night. In that time, I learned to leave my body when it happened, to float up to the ceiling and stare at the cracks in the paint and count them until it was over. I would shower until my skin was raw because I could never feel clean no matter how hard I scrubbed. I'd flinch when anyone touched me unexpectedly, would wear baggy clothes to hide my body, and failed classes because I couldn't concentrate on anything except surviving. For 5 years, my father made me believe I was dirty and broken, and that no one would ever love me if they knew what we did together. "You're damaged goods," he told me once when I was 10. "No one else will ever want you. I'm the only one who loves you enough to stay." I carried those words inside me like poison for years. Every time a boy looked at me in middle school, I felt sick. Every time someone tried to be my friend, I pushed them away because I was convinced they would see the truth if they got too close. I was 12 years old, and I already believed my life was over. My aunt saved me, though. My father's sister came to visit one weekend when I was 12, and she noticed things. She noticed how I tensed up when my father hugged me. She saw that I wouldn't make eye contact with him and that I disappeared into my room the second he got home from work. One time she asked me if everything was okay, and I said, "I'm fine," because that's what I always said. But she didn't believe me. She sat me down when my father went to the store, and she looked me in the eyes and said, "Sabrina, I need you to tell me the truth. Has your father ever touched you in a way that made you uncomfortable?" I broke. 5 years of secrets came pouring out of me in that kitchen. I couldn't stop talking, couldn't stop crying, couldn't stop shaking. My aunt held me and she cried with me and she said, "This is not your fault. None of this is your fault. You are not dirty or broken. Your father is a monster, and I am going to make sure he never hurts you again." The police came that night. I sat in the living room wrapped in a blanket while they put my father in handcuffs. He looked at me as they walked him out the door, and I will never forget his face. He wasn't angry. He wasn't scared. He looked betrayed, like I was the one who had done something wrong. "Sabrina," he said, and his voice was so calm. "I thought you loved me." Those words haunted me for years. Sometimes they still do. My father was convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison. I went to live with my aunt, and I started therapy, and I slowly, painfully began to rebuild myself. It took years. I had nightmares well into my 20s. I couldn't be intimate with anyone for a long time because touch felt like danger. I pushed away every person who tried to get close to me because my father had taught me that love was just another word for pain. He stole my childhood and my innocence and my ability to trust anyone for years. But I survived. I graduated high school with honors. I put myself through college. I built a career and bought a house and created a life that had nothing to do with him. I took back everything he tried to take from me. And then I met Raymond? Raymond was patient when I couldn't explain why certain things triggered me. He held me through nightmares and never asked questions I wasn't ready to answer. He even waited a year before we were intimate because I needed that time, and he said, "I'll wait forever if that's what it takes." I told Raymond about my father after we married. I sat across from him at dinner, and I told him everything. The abuse, the trial, the years of therapy. I told him I hadn't spoken to my father since the day he was arrested, and I never planned to speak to him again. I told him that part of my life was closed forever, and anyone who wanted to be with me needed to understand that. Raymond cried when I told him. He reached across the table and took my hands and said, "I'm so sorry that happened to you. I will never let anyone hurt you again. Your father is dead to me. He doesn't exist. You never have to think about him again." I believed him. I trusted him completely. And now I know he's been visiting my father every Sunday for over a year, building a relationship with him, calling him dad, planning to bring him back into my life without my knowledge or consent, taking photos of my home and giving them to the man who destroyed me. I gave Raymond my darkest secret, and he handed it right back to the man who gave me that secret in the first place. I was done hiding in the bathtub, and I was done pretending. Raymond was downstairs thinking his little reunion plan was still on track. He thought in 2 weeks I'd be thanking him for bringing my family back together. He was about to find out how wrong he was. I walked downstairs, and this is where things got ugly. Raymond is on the couch watching the game when I come down the stairs. He looks up at me with that easy smile he always has, the one I used to think meant he loved me. Now I know it means he thinks he's gotten away with something. "Hey baby," he says. "Bath was quick. Everything okay?" I don't sit down. I don't move closer. I just stand at the bottom of the stairs and let the words come out. "I heard your phone call." His smile wavers, but doesn't disappear. "What phone call?" "The one you made in the garage just now. The one where you told my father that everything would be ready when he gets out in 2 weeks." The smile is gone now. Raymond sits up straighter on the couch and his face cycles through emotions. Surprise, panic, and then something I didn't expect. Relief. "Okay," he says slowly. "Okay, I was going to tell you. I was just waiting for the right time." "The right time? When exactly was that going to be, Raymond?" "When he showed up at our front door." He stands up and walks toward me with his hands raised like I'm a wild animal he needs to calm down. "Sabrina, I know you're upset, but if you just let me explain, you'll understand why I did this." "Explain? You want to explain why you've been visiting the man who used me for over a year? Why you called him dad?" Raymond flinches at that last part. "It's not what you think," he says. "Then tell me what it is." He takes a deep breath and runs his hand through his hair. "Your father reached out to me about a year ago. He got my information somehow. I don't know how. He wrote me a letter saying he knew I was married to you and he wanted to make things right before he got out. He said he'd found God in prison. He said he spent every day of the last 15 years thinking about what he did and how he can make it up to you." "Make it up to me?" I scoff. "He can't make it up to me, Raymond. There's no making up for what he did. There's no apology that fixes it. There's no amount of finding God that erases 5 years of him coming into my room at night. I know that. I know. But Sabrina, people can change. I've sat across from him every Sunday for over a year and I've watched him become a different person. The man who hurt you doesn't exist anymore. The man who's getting out in 2 weeks wants nothing more than to tell you how sorry he is and spend the rest of his life proving it." I stare at him. I actually cannot believe what I'm hearing. You sat across from him. You sat across from the man who hurt me as a child, and you listened to him talk about redemption, and you believed him. Don't say it like that. Like what? Like the truth? That's what he did, Raymond. That's why he's in prison. That's the man you've been calling dad. If you could just see him, talk to him for 5 minutes, you'd understand. I don't care if he's the Pope now. I don't care if he cured cancer in his prison cell. He destroyed my childhood. He made me believe I was worthless. He told me no one would ever love me. Do you have any idea what that does to a person? Raymond's face softens, and he reaches for my hands. I pull away so hard I almost fall backward. "Don't touch me. Sabrina, please. I did this for you. Everything I've done has been for you. For me. Lying to me for 14 months was for me. Planning to ambush me with my abuser in my own home was for me. Because you need this," Raymond says, and his voice gets louder. "You need to close this chapter. You've been carrying this trauma around for 20 years, and it's eating you alive. The nightmares, the flinching when I touch you, the panic attacks when you drive past certain streets. That's not living, Sabrina. That's surviving. And I wanted to give you the chance to actually live. By forcing me to see the man who traumatized me, by giving you the chance to heal. Real healing. Not the avoidance you've been calling recovery. You're not over it, you're just running from it. And as long as you keep running, it's always going to have power over you. I don't want to forgive him. I will never forgive him. And you don't get to make that choice for me." Raymond's jaw tightens. "You say that now. But holding on to all that anger and pain isn't healthy. It's been over a decade. At some point, you have to let it go." "Let it go?" I'm screaming now, but I don't care. "He hurt me, Raymond, for 5 years. You don't let that go. You don't forgive that. You survive it, and you build a life despite it, and you pray every single day that you never have to see his face again. You're so consumed by what happened that you can't even consider the possibility of moving forward. I can see how much this is hurting you, and I know the only way you're ever going to be free is if you face him. I want to throw something at him. I want to scream until my throat bleeds. You promised me." My voice breaks. "When I told you about my father, you looked me in the eyes and you promised. You said he was dead to you. You said I would never have to think about him again. You held my hands and cried and swore you would never let anyone hurt me. Do you remember that, Raymond? Do you remember what you said to me?" His face changes. For a second, he looks almost guilty. "I meant it when I said it, but then I got to know him, Sabrina. I got to see the man he's become, and I realized that keeping him away from you wasn't protecting you. It was preventing you from getting the closure you deserve. I don't want closure. I want him to rot in prison until he dies. I want to never hear his name again. I want my husband to keep the promises he made instead of deciding he knows better than I do about my own trauma. I do know better," Raymond says quietly. "I'm sorry, but I do. You're too close to it. You're too damaged by it to see clearly. Damaged. I repeat the word like it's poison. You think I'm damaged. That's not what I meant. I'm doing this because I love you, and I want you to be happy. If you loved me, you would have respected my wishes. You would have told me the second my father contacted you. You would have thrown that letter in the trash and never looked back. But you didn't do any of those things, Raymond. Instead, you built a relationship with my abuser and called him family." Raymond shakes his head slowly. "I couldn't throw it away. Not when I knew how much you were suffering, but he's not going going to hurt you. He just wants to apologize. He apologized when he put his hands on me too. He'd say sorry every time and then he'd do it again the next night. His apologies mean nothing. That was 15 years ago. He served his time. He's done the work. I don't have to give him anything. The only thing I owe myself is protection from people who hurt me. I pause. And right now, that includes you. What's that supposed to mean? It means this isn't happening. The dinner, the reunion, whatever you were planning, none of it. You're going to call my father and tell him you made a mistake. You're going to tell him he's not welcome here and he never will be. And then you're going to get on your knees and beg me to forgive you for the worst betrayal I've ever experienced. Raymond laughs at me. I'm not doing any of that. And you know why? Because deep down, you know I'm right. You're scared to face him, but that fear is exactly why you need to do it. Once you see him, once you hear his apology, you're going to thank me for this. I'm not going to thank you. I'm going to leave you if you don't fix this. The laughter stops. Raymond stares at me like I've kicked his puppy. You don't mean that. I have never meant anything more in my life. Call him right now. Tell him it's over, or I'm walking out that door and I'm never coming back. Raymond is quiet for a long moment. I watch his face, waiting for him to break, waiting for him to realize how badly he's messed up and do the right thing. Instead, he says, I'm not calling him, and you're not leaving. You're going to calm down and think about this rationally, and then you're going to realize I did this because I love you. The dinner is happening, Sabrina. Your father is coming, and when it's over, you're going to see that I was right all along. He walks past me toward the stairs like the conversation is over, like he's made the decision for both of us, and that's final. Something inside me snaps. Raymond. He stops at the bottom of the stairs and turns around. If my father steps one foot in this house, I will call the police. I will tell them everything, and I will make sure you never see me again. He smiles at me, this sad, patronizing smile that makes me want to scream. You won't do that. You love me too much. Then he walks upstairs and closes the bedroom door behind him. He thinks walking away ends the conversation, but Raymond isn't backing down. He's too invested in this plan, too convinced he's the hero of this story. I stand in my living room realizing my husband just chose my abuser over me. He heard my pain and decided he knew better. 20 minutes later, he comes back downstairs. He has that look on his face, the one that says he's ready to try a different approach. What he tells me next makes everything so much worse. Raymond comes back downstairs 20 minutes later. His face is softer now, his voice gentle, like he's talking to a child who had a tantrum and needs to be reasoned with. I know that was a lot to take in, he says, but I need you to understand something. This isn't just about one dinner. Your father is going to need support when he gets out. He has nowhere to go, no job lined up, no family except you. He pauses. I told him he could stay here until he gets back on his feet. The words don't make sense at first. My brain refuses to process them. Stay here, I repeat, in this house, in the spare bedroom, just for a few weeks, maybe a month or two, until he finds a job and gets his own place. You invited my father to live with us. He's family Sabrina, and he needs help. What was I supposed to do? Let him end up on the street? Yes, that's exactly what you were supposed to do. Raymond sighs like I'm being difficult. I knew you'd react this way. That's why I've been preparing everything ahead of time so the transition would be smooth. Come here, let me show you something. He walks toward the hallway, and I follow him because my legs are moving without my permission. He stops at the spare bedroom door, the room we use for storage. The room I haven't opened in months because there was never any reason to. Raymond opens the door and turns on the light. The boxes are gone. The old furniture we were going to donate is gone. Instead, there's a bed with fresh sheets, a dresser with a lamp on top, curtains on the window, a small rug on the floor. He's been building my father a bedroom in my house. I've been working on it for a few weeks, Raymond says, and he sounds proud. Wanted to make sure he felt welcome. I even got him some clothes. I stare at the bed. The sheets are blue, my father's favorite color. Raymond remembered that from something I must have mentioned years ago and filed it away for this moment. He can't stay here. My voice sounds far away. Raymond, he can't stay in this house. Why not? It's just temporary. Because I know what he'll do. The words are shaking now. I know him. You don't. You've seen the version of him that wants something. The charming version. The version that convinced my mother to marry him and convinced me to keep quiet for 5 years. Sabrina, he's changed. He hasn't. And if he lives here, if he sleeps down the hall from me, he will come into my room at night, just like before. He will wait until you're asleep and he will open my door and he will tell himself that I want it, that I missed him, that we're just picking up where we left off. Raymond's face twists into something ugly. Do you hear yourself right now? You sound insane. I sound like someone who knows her abuser. You sound like someone who's letting fear control her entire life. The man I know isn't capable of what you're describing. He's not going to sneak into your bedroom like some kind of monster. That's not reality, Sabrina. That's paranoia. The man you know is a performance. He's been performing his whole life for the courts, for the parole board, for you. And you fell for it because you wanted to believe you could fix something that was never yours to fix. Raymond steps closer to me. His voice drops low. You know what I think? I think you're so attached to being a victim that you can't imagine any other identity. I think you've made your trauma your entire personality, and the idea of letting it go terrifies you. Because who would you be without it? Who is Sabrina if she's not the girl her father hurt? The words slapped me harder than he ever could. I actually stepped backward. I think you need this more than you're willing to admit. Raymond continues. I think deep down you want to see him. You want to hear him apologize. You want closure. But you're too proud and too scared to ask for it. So I did it for you. And instead of thanking me, you're standing here calling me crazy for loving you enough to do what you couldn't do for yourself. I look at my husband. I look at the bedroom he built for my abuser. I look at the blue sheets and the lamp and the little rug on the floor, and something breaks inside me. I push past Raymond and walk into the spare room. I grab the sheets off the bed and throw them on the floor. I knock the lamp off the dresser and it shatters against the wall. What are you doing? Raymond's voice is sharp. Stop it. Sabrina, stop. I yank open the dresser drawers and start throwing the disgusting, ugly clothes he bought for my disgusting, ugly father. I said stop. Raymond grabs my arm and spins me around. His grip is tight, tighter than he's ever held me before. Let go of me. Not until you calm down. I am calm. This is the calmest I've ever been. I try to pull away, but he doesn't let go. You built my abuser a bedroom in my house. You bought him clothes with our money, and you expect me to just accept it? I expect you to act like an adult instead of throwing a tantrum. Let go of my arm, Raymond. His fingers dig in harder. I try to twist away from him, but his grip is iron. You're hurting me. I'm trying to help you. His voice is strained. If you would just listen to me for 1 second instead of destroying everything everything I've worked for. Everything you've worked for? I yank my arm hard and feel his fingers slip. You mean the relationship you built with my abuser? The bedroom you decorated for him? That's what you've been working for? I've been working on saving you from yourself. He grabs for me again, and I shove him, both hands against his chest. Hard. Raymond stumbles backward and something changes in his face. The softness disappears. The patient husband act falls away. What's underneath is anger. Real anger? The kind I've never seen from him before. Don't push me, Sabrina. Or what? I shove him again. What are you going to do, Raymond? Run to my father and cry about how your wife won't cooperate with your sick little reunion plan? He moves fast, faster than I expected. His hands are on my shoulders, and then I'm not standing anymore. My back hits the wall, and my head cracks against it, and there's this sound, this wet, hollow sound that I feel more than hear. For a second, everything goes white, then gray. Then the hallway comes back into focus, and Raymond is standing in front of me with his hands still raised and his mouth hanging open. Something warm runs down the back of my neck. I touch it. My fingers come away red. Raymond sees the blood, and his whole body changes. The anger drains out of him like someone pulled a plug. His face crumples, and suddenly he's crying. Oh God, Sabrina, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I would never. You know, I would never hurt you. I just lost control for a second. Please look at me. I'm still touching the back of my head, still staring at the blood on my fingers. It doesn't feel real. None of this feels real. Baby, please say something. Raymond is sobbing now, reaching for me, then pulling back like he's afraid to touch me. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I don't know what happened. That wasn't me. That's not who I am. I slide down the wall until I'm sitting on the floor. The hallway tilts sideways, and I have to close my eyes to make it stop. We need to get you to a hospital. Raymond's voice is shaking. You're bleeding. You might have a concussion. Let me take you to the ER. Don't touch me. Sabrina, please. I know you're angry. I know you hate me right now, but you're hurt, and I need to make sure you're okay. Please let me take you. Please. I open my eyes and look at him, my husband, the man I trusted with my darkest secrets, the man who just slammed me into a wall hard enough to crack my head open. If I call 911 right now, I say slowly, you go to jail. His face goes pale. Sabrina, baby, please don't do that. Please. Think about what you're saying. Think about our life together. Everything we built. You built a bedroom for my arpist. I know, and I'm sorry. I was wrong. I see that now. I'll call him tomorrow and tell him he can't come. I'll cancel everything. Just please don't call the police, please. I'm begging you. The blood is still running down my neck, dripping onto my shirt. I can feel it pooling in my collar. I need to go to the hospital. I'll take you. Right now. I'll drive you there myself. He's nodding frantically. But Sabrina, when we get there, you need to tell them you fell. You slipped on the stairs and hit your head. That's all. It was an accident. You want me to lie. I want to protect our family. If you tell them what really happened, they'll arrest me. They'll put me in jail. Is that what you want? You want your husband in prison? I stare at him. This man who spent a year visiting my father in prison. This man who thinks prison is a punishment too harsh for himself, but a place where my abuser found God and became a new person. Please, Sabrina, I made a mistake. One mistake. Don't let it destroy everything. I don't say anything. I just let him help me stand. Let him guide me to the car. Let him open the passenger door and buckle my seatbelt like I'm a child. The whole drive to the hospital he talks. He doesn't stop talking. You fell on the stairs. You were upset and you were walking too fast and you tripped. That's all anyone needs to know. The hospital will ask questions, but just stick to the story. You fell. It was an accident. I found you at the bottom of the stairs and rushed you here because I was so worried. I watched the streetlights pass outside the window. My head is throbbing now. A deep, steady pulse that matches my heartbeat. If you tell them the truth, our life is over. You understand that, right? I'll lose my job. I'll have a record. We'll lose the house. Everything we worked for, gone. Because of one moment where I lost control. One moment. Like it was a sneeze he couldn't hold back. Like it was something that happened to him instead of something he did to me. I love you, Sabrina. I know I have a terrible way of showing it, but I love you more than anything. And I know you love me too. We can get past this. We can go to counseling. We can work through it, but only if you don't say anything. Only if you let me fix this. We pull into the hospital parking lot. Raymond parks close to the entrance and comes around to open my door. His hand is on my back as we walk inside. Gentle now, careful, like he's guiding something fragile, but I feel the pressure of his palm. I feel him steering me. I feel him controlling where I go and how fast I move. The waiting room is bright and cold and smells like disinfectant. Raymond checks me in and sits next to me with his knee pressed against mine, his arm draped over the back of my chair. To anyone watching, we look like a loving couple dealing with an emergency. No one can see the bruise forming under my sleeve where his fingers dug in. No one can see the way my hands are shaking in my lap. No one can see the blood drying in my hair. Raymond leans close to my ear. Remember, you fell. That's all. I don't answer. I just stare at the door where the nurses come and go, waiting for someone to call my name. He put his hands on me. Now I'm sitting in the emergency room with blood running down my face and a choice to make. Raymond is right next to me telling me to say I fell down the stairs. He really thinks I'm going to lie for him after everything he just did. The nurse just walked in and asked me what happened, and Raymond is staring at me waiting for me to protect him. Here's what I told her. A nurse finally calls my name. She has kind eyes and a clipboard, and she's looking between me and my husband like she already knows what happened. She just needs me to be brave enough to say it out loud. Can you tell me what happened tonight? She asks. Raymond's hand tightens on my knee. Not hard enough to hurt, just hard enough to remind me he's there and to remember what we talked about. She fell, Raymond says before I can open my mouth. On the stairs at home. She was upset about something and she was walking too fast and she tripped. I found her at the bottom. There was blood everywhere. I drove her straight here. The nurse writes something on her clipboard, but her eyes stay on me. Is that what happened? Raymond squeezes my knee again. I can feel him staring at the side of my face. I can feel him willing me to say yes, to nod, to be the good wife who protects her husband even when he doesn't deserve it. I think about everything that has led me here, and I decide that I don't want to be the good wife who protects her husband because he doesn't deserve that. I look at Raymond. I look at his blue eyes and his worried face and his hand on my knee. Then I look at the nurse. My husband slammed me into a wall. The words come out clear and steady, stronger than I expected, stronger than I feel. Raymond's hand flies off my knee like I burned him. What? No. Sabrina, baby, you're confused. You hit your head. You don't remember what happened. I remember everything. She's disoriented, Raymond says to the nurse. His voice is getting higher, faster. Head injuries can cause confusion. She doesn't know what she she's saying. The nurse is already moving. She presses a button on the wall and picks up a phone and says something I can't hear over the sound of Raymond's panic. Sabrina, please. He grabs for my hand and I yank it away. Please don't do this. Think about what you're saying. Think about us. There is no us. Not anymore. You don't mean that. You're upset and you're hurt and you're not thinking clearly. Just tell them you made a mistake. Tell them you fell. We can still fix this. A man in a security uniform appears in the doorway. Then another one. They're big. Bigger than Raymond. They look at the nurse and she points at my husband. Sir, we need you to come with us. Raymond stands up so fast his chair scrapes against the floor. I'm not going anywhere. That's my wife. She needs me. Sir, the first security guard steps closer. You need to come with us right now. This is insane. She fell down the stairs. I brought her here because I was worried about her. I'm the one who drove her to the hospital. Why would I do that if I hurt her? We can discuss that outside. Right now you need to leave this room. Raymond looks at me. His face is red and his eyes are wet and he looks like a man watching his whole life collapse in front of him. Sabrina, please, one word. Just say one word and this all goes away. Just tell them it was an accident. I don't say anything. I just look at him. I let him see exactly what I think of him. I let him see that the woman who loved him is gone and she's never coming back. The security guards take his arms. Raymond struggles for a second, tries to shake them off, but they're stronger than him and they're not letting go. Get off me. I have rights. You can't just drag me out of here. Sabrina, tell them. Tell them the truth. I did. They pull him toward the door. He's still fighting, still yelling. His voice echoes down the hallway as they drag him away. Sabrina, please, I love you. I did this because I love you. You have to believe me. Sabrina, Sabrina. Then he's gone. The hallway goes quiet. The nurse closes the door and it's just me and her. Are you okay? She asks softly. I touch the back of my head. My fingers come away sticky with half-dried blood. No, I say, but I think I'm going to be. The doctor comes in and examines my head. Mild concussion. She cleans the wound and numbs the area and I feel the needle going in and out, but I don't react. I'm too empty to feel anything. You're going to be okay, she says when she's done, physically at least. The police arrive 20 minutes later. A male officer and a female officer. The woman has a notebook open and a pen ready. Can you tell us what happened tonight? So I tell her. I tell her everything. From the phone call from my mother-in-law to the garage conversation to the spare bedroom to my head hitting the wall. I don't leave anything out. I don't protect anyone. When I'm done, she says, we're going to arrest your husband for domestic assault. Do you have somewhere safe you can go tonight? I think about my house. The house Raymond took photos of and sent to my father. The house where my abuser was supposed to live in 2 weeks. No, I say, but I'll figure something out. They bring Raymond back into the hallway in handcuffs. I watch through the window in my door. He's not fighting anymore. He's not yelling. He just looks broken and deflated. He sees me watching. Our eyes meet through the glass. I did this for you, he mouths. Everything I did was for you. The officers lead him away. I watch until he disappears around the corner. The man I married is just another stranger now. They discharge me at 3 in the morning. I call a cab from the hospital lobby because I don't have my car and I don't have anyone to call. My aunt died 2 years ago. My mother left when I was young and I don't know where she is. Raymond was my emergency contact for everything. Raymond was my everything. The cab takes me home. I stand in my driveway and look at my house, and all I can think about is my father looking at photos of this exact view, memorizing the windows, counting the doors, planning his return. He gets out in 2 weeks. He knows where I live and what my house looks like, and Raymond isn't going to be here to stop him. Raymond was never going to stop him. Raymond was going to open the front door and let him walk right in. I go inside and I start packing. I grab clothes and shove them in a suitcase. Toiletries, my laptop, the folder with my important documents, the cash I keep hidden in my closet for emergencies. I don't take photos. I don't take memories. I don't take anything that reminds me of Raymond or the life we built together. I leave my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. By sunrise, I'm in my car driving east. I don't know where I'm going. I just know I can't stay here. I can't be in this house when my father gets out. I drive for 6 hours before I stop at a motel. I lock the door and push a chair under the handle and finally let myself fall apart. I cry for the life I left behind. But one thing's for sure. When my father gets out, he'll go to my house and find it empty. He'll look for me and I won't be there. I survived my father once. I survived Raymond too. And I will keep surviving no matter how many times the world tries to break me.